And there are many of them.
Can anyone hear me? Because I don't hear any.
Yeah, I hear you, Jeannie. The meeting hasn't started yet.
Thank you so much, Elise. I was just wondering.
Of course, Jeannie, anytime.
I'm doing 2 meetings at one time, the one next door and this one.
Hi, everyone. Please don't forget to turn off the mute.
I'm still not hearing anything, Elise.
I don't believe the meeting has started. We are muted. I should say they are muted. Conference room 1, I can see them though.
Hi, we're still muted, A, because we're wondering if a member is coming, and B, we're trying to figure out a couple of numbers here. We'll start in just a moment.
Thank you, Annie.
All right, we're gonna get going.
We were waiting for Drew, but.
No, we're not waiting for Drew.
15 minutes.
It's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like he shows up.
All right, welcome everyone to this meeting of the Finance Committee of the Kings Common Council. I'm calling us to order here at 6:45 on September 11th, 2024. Given today's date, I'd like to start with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. We recognize the pain and the service of so many people involved in the events of 23 years ago. All right, so the first time we're going to move the request for a Pike Plan public hearing up to the beginning from Alderwoman Mickens. Do you want to tell us what's the issue here?
So basically I've cobbled this resolution together based on the fact that there is a proposal for $1.2 million, which is what I do need to change that. I've said $1 million of city funds for the demolition of the Pike Plan. And there is also a proposal to obligate $50,000 in offer funding for the demolition of the Pike Plan, which would trigger a public hearing and SHPO involvement in the demolition proposal.
What do you mean trigger?
Okay, so there is a section 106.
What?
Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Acts, which provides the opportunity for citizens to lend their voice in protecting and maintaining historic properties in their communities. And that section 106 requires the federal agencies to consider the effects of historic properties of projects they carry out, assist fund, permit, license, or approved throughout the country. If a federal or federally assisted project has the potential to affect historic properties, a section 106 review will take place.
According to whom? I mean,
According,
who would undertake the review?
I'm sorry,
Who would undertake the review? I don't
SHPO will
understand.
undertake the review of the action.
That's a state organization, right?
Yes.
I thought you were saying it's a federal.
It's triggered by the fact that we're using federal funds. If we were using federal or state funds to demolish or in any way affect the historic properties, then it would trigger a 106 review.
So, but what historic properties are going to be affected?
The historic properties that the pipeline is affixed to. When you look to demolish a structure that has been in place for 50 years, there is quite possibly, I think we've all recognized that there is an effect on the remaining historic properties.
So, I have one thing. It's only been in the pipe plan thing, whatever the word is, we had a debate last night,
Structure.
2 nights ago. It's actually not years old. It's only, it was completely rebuilt, so it's only. from
SHPO has
2000.
waited to determine.
Right.
Right, the SHPO has not, they're not, as we talked about last time, as far as I understand, maybe Barbara Grace Poller should weigh in here. There's not, from what I understand, there's not a clear reason to involve SHPO at this point.
And so what I'm saying is that there is, because of the use of $50,000 from the ARPA funds. And that was listed as a public health project, of which there was, $2,076,166 allocated, and the pipe plan demolition was listed as an allocation.
So have you run this by the mayor?
Have I run it by the mayor? Have I run what by the mayor?
The idea
The
of having a
resolution?
public hearing.
Yes, well, the mayor actually said in his response to Cuba that he expected a meeting of stakeholders. I believe at that time, he's responding on July 22nd to Cuba saying, we will hold multiple stakeholder meetings to make sure everyone is aware of what will be done, what will be expected of building owners, and the impacts this project may have on tenants. I believe this type of meeting is what you were looking for. I expect this meeting to be scheduled in the fall of 2024, so we
Okay.
Yeah, I have, you go. No, I was just gonna say that it was my understanding at the meeting that we had on Monday that ARPA funds were not going to be involved.
Well, and then I did some research and found that the City of Kingston ARPA spending plan summary as of August 9th, 2024 included $50,000 allocated to the pipeline demolition.
But I'm not sure if that's still operating.
Well, if the question is whether or not it's been spent, it should be asked to Bill Reynolds. He would be able to answer that.
Has it been obligated?
Well, I mean, whatever your question is, whether it's been obligated or whether it's been spent, obligated would have to be generally under ARPA is a contract or a purchase order.
Right.
Would constitute an obligation. But I don't know what parameters you're looking at, whether it's obligation or actual expenditure of federal funds.
I think it's obligation, but I don't think it would even be obligated between now and the end of the year.
Well, it has to be done by August 31st, 2024.
Well,
Whoops.
whoops, we're already past that.
It's
Well, it's been
So-
obligated for this purpose.
Right.
But I thought it had to be obligated.
No,
via
it
the
has to be spent by December, I'm sorry, the obligation has to be filed by December 31st, 2024.
But
It has a year to be spent.
obligation.
Correct,
is-
but obligation, right, there's still millions of dollars that are technically not obligated to the ARPA. So it's obligated if there's a purchase order or there's a contract.
And
issue.
as far as I know, there's no purchase order or contract.
That, I don't want to speak to that because I'm not day to day on tracking the ARPA expenditures, but, you know, there's an individual in my office who works with Bill Reynolds on that.
Right. But I would have to think that this is, you know, it says specifically that the purpose is for the assessment and design of the demolition. And so, and as much as the mayor has already announced that, you know, we're in the process of doing that, I would be inclined to believe that those monies have been attached to that for that purpose.
I don't know.
What did you want to say?
Well, it didn't have to do with funds, what is the purpose of the public? I mean, I know to hear from the public, so it sounds like a stupid question, but is it because you believe SHPO will eventually be triggered, so therefore we have to do this public hearing? Or are you just saying we should have separate from SHPO, we should have a public hearing?
No, I think they go hand in hand. I think that that SHPO's involvement is being triggered by the use of these funds, as well as the fact that, you know, the city is budgeting $1 million. So I think those two things, the use of those funds, is something that the, you know, stakeholders and the city in general would want to know about and weigh in. I think that SHPO, their involvement would inform the process more completely, in that they have an interest in the protection of the historic district and the historic buildings that will be possibly affected by the removal of the pipeline. And so to your question, you know, why a public hearing? Because as you know, back in May, there was a suggestion that, you know, there'd be a sort of informational meeting, which never happened. We're getting to the point now where to request SHPO's involvement, given the timeline that the mayor has laid out, which is what, January 2025, that it would be demolished. We're not giving SHPO adequate time to come in and do their analysis. So this has been like, the time frame has been concentrated. And I think that at the very least, we can ask the public to be involved. I think that's one of the requirements that SHPO lays out.
I was more thinking, my question, and Barbara just popped on, so it is actually for her, because my question is more about the process, and that's why I asked about your goal. I understand that you probably want both of those, but I see them as kind of two silos. If SHPO is triggered, so it sounds like you want the public hearing to trigger SHPO, but if SHPO is triggered, this question is more for Barbara. If SHPO is triggered to get involved, wouldn't there then be the mandatory public hearings and all the process would then start at that moment? So does that make sense? I don't know SHPO's, have we ever gone through one of these? So I don't know.
I don't want to go through a full hour's more of conversation about a process, you know, that might be repetitive of our discussion from the other night. I'll just say that I disagree with the Alderwoman's understanding of this process.
Okay, and that disagreement would be based on the fact that there is no federal funding?
I'm not going to have this full conversation here right now. I'll just say based on the law.
Steve, then Michael.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I was going to ask has already been answered. But I guess, and I'm not sure what the response is here, what are we expecting to gain from the public hearing? Is it just an informational session, or is this for us to assist us in making a decision? Is it just a technicality because of the ARPA funds? What's the end result you're expecting on it?
The end result is that many constituents and stakeholders are saying that they've been left out of the process, that they don't know what's going on. We have a situation where the LGBTQ community center, their portico is being ripped down, and they're saying they haven't been informed. They've been having conversations with the mayor. Cuba has written us a letter and saying that they just want to know what's going on, what are the plans, what are the possibilities for remediation, and no one is giving them an answer. This public hearing, I believe, would be a way to sort of bring everybody into the process, explain if in fact it cannot be saved, then there should be a way to, explain that, maybe not at this time, but after hearing from the public, it will then inform our response to them.
So correct me if I'm hearing you wrong. It's for the most part informational.
It's for the most part to hear what the stakeholders and the residents think of
All right.
the
So
demolition.
not just to give them information for them to.
Yeah,
give us
because we're
feedback.
hearing them.
So Michael,
So this is the longest we've ever spoken about the Pike Plan in a public meeting. I think that's part of the problem and part of why this public hearing is necessary. So to ask what is to gain, I would ask what is the harm in hearing from the public?
The harm is significant litigation harm, and I don't want to go through it all again, but if you all want to, continue talking about litigation that is continuing to cost the taxpayers money and will cost them more money, then we can have that conversation again, but that is the actual harm.
okay. I'm going to ask, is there a motion to approve this?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Can I take Drew's place?
Well, we did this because you're not taking Drew's place. So, all right, so at this point, I think the thing to do is to talk with the mayor first and clarify, because the crucial thing is to understand whether there is money like you're suspecting that would, according to your reading, leave us with the necessity of working with SHPO, right? So I think that's the first thing to do, is clarify for your own self, that particular part of it. And then if we can get that settled, then we take a next step. Does that make sense?
I don't see where it's not clear. This is a city document, the City of Kingston Office Spending Plan Summary.
It could have changed since then, and like we said,
Since
it's August 31st was the date. So, we're under some different concepts here. And I think, as Barbara was pointing out, any further discussion, we need to have an attorney-client session. Yeah, Michael.
Would we be opening if Carol received that answer before our next meeting to have a special meeting on this? To consider hosting a public hearing?
I think that it would behoove us to have, to do it through an attorney-client session first. So maybe sit down, depending on what you find out. We can be in touch. We can certainly talk about it. I don't know what
I won't rule it out, so just
Because
let
we're
me
on a
know.
pretty tight timeline.
Yeah,
That
let
would
me
be
know.
down.
Let me know what you find out.
Okay.
okay? All right. And then if you take notes on what's said in there, if you'll take notes of what they say in there.
All right.
All right. So we move now to the comptroller's update. Yep. Oh, this is, shoot, terrible. We'll rip out at the same place. Unassigned fund balance.
Which one?
We're back. So like 2 months ago, I thought we were at the same percentage at 22.3%.
Yeah, that only changes annually. The fund balance we measure on an annual basis when we close out.
Okay.
Oh, you go.
Yep,
you
so,
go.
24 number,
I have one.
we're still paying next year.
Oh,
So, not a lot has changed, since last month. We have, an update on sales tax. We have 2 remittances that came in, 1 more that we've been notified of that we haven't received yet. Continues basically in the same trend of, where I've been communicating to the council. We're net basically 3.5% over prior year, 3.5% increase over prior year numbers, still strong. We're well on target to exceed budget. We have budget 19,325,000. I'm expecting that, we're gonna be up in that $20 million range, plus or minus, depending on how the rest of the year goes, but over the last several months, it's been pretty consistent. So that's good. I am seeing, now some vacancies getting filled up. We're starting to see some, the spending tighten up a little bit, which, if you look at where we're at on a year-to-date basis, we've spent 57% of our modified budget through July. That's 58.33% of the way through the year. We've spent 57%. So we're pretty much on target with budget. But compared to last year, we're at 53.4% spent at this time of year. So we're up 3.6%. The difference between 57% and 53.4%, but on a $50 million budget, that's a significant number. It's over $1.5 million. So certainly it's shaping up to be a tighter year than it was last year. That's pretty much the message I think I've been giving for the last several months. So in terms of some of the overages, overtime, we're right now, I've asked some of the departments to submit budget transfers where we're spent on overtime. That's mainly in police and fire. Fire, large part due to us taking on ambulance. So that's one account that we really haven't addressed through the budgetary transfers. As I mentioned in previous meetings, we are seeing some of the revenue come in on ambulance. So at some point, I would expect we'll have a budget transfer to come in to recognize some of that revenue. And that's the main one. Hospital medical insurance is a large account. We're currently on pace to go over budget somewhere in the neighborhood of $200,000, $300,000. But once again, it's a budget on almost $10 million. So percentage-wise, it's not a large amount, but you don't have to be too far off on hospital medical to have a large dollar variance. But there's a number of accounts where we're positive. Regular pay, electricity, vehicle fuel, dental insurance. So they tend to offset, but once again, it is tighter this year. Revenue wise, interest revenue strong, parking revenue strong. We are seeing, just anecdotally, not on this report, but I am seeing our cash balances tighten up a bit. For different reasons. We've been using some fund balance, so that's drawing from cash. We have a number of large grant receivables outstanding right now. So, we lay the money out for these projects, and it takes a little while sometimes to get the money back. So, that's kind of drawn into the cash. Not a concern at this point, but it's worth noting. So, that's my report. Any questions? Always feel free to call me, stop in, email me.
Actually, I just have one. You may have covered this before, you probably did, and I'm just forgetting. Cannabis sales. Now, do we just it's just lumped in with our money from the county? It's not like a separate thing.
It is a separate check. I provided a report to the council. I was going to try to update on a quarterly basis. At this point, we're under 10,000 collected, I believe, for the year. It's still in its infancy right now.
Why is this for the farmers markets, right? Or whatever they're called.
Presumably, yeah. We don't provide, we're not provided the calculation.
Why is
I'll say this though, the county recently revised their calculation for the last check and forwarded us additional money. They originally, for the period December 23 through February 24, we originally received $2,562.93. we recently received an additional $6,329.54. So for that 3-month period, we received just under $8,900.
I think I just saw recently a couple more have been approved.
In Ulster County, yeah, there's an article in the Freeman right about.
Yeah.
Not in the city of Kingston.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference? Would we get more of that sales tax revenue if they're located?
My understanding, was that we would collect if it's in the city of Kingston, but, correct me if someone believes otherwise.
Now, why is that separate? Just to make your life more miserable?
I'm not sure why, I mean, for different reasons, sales tax is allocated differently, so sales tax, the city gets 11.5% of the county collections. It's not, the county doesn't have to determine, and actually wouldn't even have the information to allocate that sales tax based upon jurisdiction which was collected, right? So I mean, the county just gets one lump check, and it's a certain percent to the town, certain percent to the city, certain percent the county retains. Where the cannabis is taxes based upon locale of sale, right? That's easier to collect that data. But from a state standpoint too, there's actually different revenue accounts that the monies are supposed to go to. Like there's actually like a cannabis revenue that when we do our annual filing with the state, they'll see what we've collected in cannabis tax.
And when the dispensary in Kingston here opens up, will that be like a line that you're able to ideally predict at some point?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it'll
think,
never probably be a huge amount. but-
I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a overly significant amount, but yeah, I think it's just gonna take some trending and some history to see, it's kind of throwing dart at a dartboard until you get a little bit of history, but, we see what we collected in one quarter. I think once you have a few checks, you'll have a better idea, what to expect going forward. But yeah, I don't expect it to be a budget solver by any means.
I'm surprised that, I didn't think it was gonna be that as high as you just said.
Then what, the $8,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be, take a while to start taking.
Yeah, I think once the dispensary here opens up, I think you'll see it pick up, I expect it to have some volume there, and, I think it'll be, some significance, I just don't see it being a very large item.
No, I'm not expecting it. I'm certainly not expecting it to, like you say, lifesaver, but I'm surprised that it's even as high as it is.
Yeah, and I think, as part of as part of the 2025 budget, the mayor and I will sit down and try to, come up with some estimate for what we expect. It's just, this will be a tough year because there's very little data to base the budget on.
How about we open the dispensary down in the basement here?
Vending machine?
And let it blow through all of the air HVAC, right?
Off the vents, yeah.
City of Kingston declares it will levitate. All right,
Thanks, Don.
Well,
thank you, John. So the first item of business here is the budget transfer in Parks and Recreation for a small amount of money that is to be transferred in the budget there. But not a small amount, but the description reads internal budget transfer of $34,400 to reconcile department accounts.
You're corrected attachment.
And there's a whole series of accounts from and accounts to, and they both add up $34,400. But the estimated financial impact is $0.
Yep.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Tierney, second by Asti. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Goes to Drew. the next item is a budget it's Natalie. Natalie, are you awake? Did we put you to sleep? There you are. Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
So this is about moving money that we got, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. This is a request for a budget transfer and to expend funds in the first instance related to a New York State Office of Parks and Rec certified local government grant that we received for the Wilbur Historic District Nomination Project.
Okay, and so I was a little slightly confused. So the idea is total cost is 25,000, right?
Correct.
And you see 15,000 grant money, which means that we will put in $10,000 in one way, shape, or form, right?
That's right.
Okay. Any questions for Natalie?
I guess just where is that 10,000 coming from? Or is that later to be determined, or do we need to know that now?
No, that would come later, right, Natalie?
Yes.
So they'll figure that out when they're looking at in kind or what have you.
Can it be in kind?
Well,
Yeah,
let me
usually
ask-
there's a cash match.
Natalie, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So we're going to receive $15,000 on this one?
Right. Yes.
And then we would hire a consultant for 25, and then we would have to find funding for the 10,000, essentially?
That's right.
Right, we have a match, which would be some type of in-kind salaries or otherwise?
Yeah. Or if they have it in their budget. I'm not sure what the plan is. This is a planning department project.
But we still have to fund, okay.
Right, but it seems we should know where the 10,000 might be coming from, if it's, or would it come from contingency if it's not found anywhere else?
I would suggest taking it right now from fund balance, the 10,000, and reducing the grant down to the 50, because we're only gonna receive 15,000 in cash, Natalie, from the
Right.
grant. Okay.
Actually, I believe this might even be pushed out to next year, so it might be put into next year's budget. But there's a chance if they can get the project moving this year that they'll do it this year, and in which case I'm more than sure that Sue has a plan for where the funds are coming from.
You still need, I would suggest at least so for the 10,000, take from fund balance until we can backfill it. Only in that we're not gonna receive the $25,000 in grants, so it's.
Yeah, I think that sounds better, because since we're not getting 25,
Like this,
Yeah.
so. This would be 15. And 10,000. Probably somewhere out there. I can tissue.
What was that?
it's still busy doing this.
Just don't get caught up in what they're talking about. All right.
So basically what this means is that we're taking the 10,000 out of fund balance, and then if the grants or other things happen, then they would just get repaid to fund balance.
Well, we're authorizing, we're putting $25,000 in the consultant line item. So the consultant be hired and
I know
paid,
there's a-
right? We know that there's $15,000, that's coming from the grant, right? And
That's
then
right.
$10,000 basically to be determined, but for now, take it from fund balance, and then if the plan, another department can,
That makes
well,
sense.
once we know where that funding's coming from, we can replenish it. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Okay.
Natalie, gonna say something?
What's that?
Natalie, were you gonna say something there?
No, that sounds like a good idea.
Whatever lets you get out of here is a good idea, right?
Off the hook.
Well, right now, we're actually blaming Michael Tierney because he walked out for a second. And I will tell you to look out, because I think that plant is getting ready to sneak up behind you, Natalie.
Oh,
It's it behind you. It looks very healthy.
She's very fast, not looking.
She just knows not to believe you.
Well, I'm ready to make a motion once we get to that point.
Well, why don't you make?
I will make the
You have a
motion.
quorum if you want
We do, we have three of us.
to. I have quorum, but yeah.
Oh, there you go.
But I
All
will move that we
right.
approve this.
Okay, do we have a second? Second by Steve Shabbat. All right, the report reads, request transfer $15,000 from New York grants to $10,000 from fund balance to A7520.411 for the Wilbur Historic District Nomination Project. Request to expend funds in the first instance in the amount of $15,000 related to New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Certified Local Government grant for the Wilbur Historic District Nomination Project. So the estimated financial impact is still $10,000. And we have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, it passes unanimously. That's it for you, right, Natalie?
I'm sorry.
You don't have any more business before us, right?
No, that's it for this month.
All right, thank you for what you do.
Okay, thanks all. Good night.
Okay, thank you.
Can you, right, can we just put this with that?
Yeah,
So Elisa sees that when she's writing up the resolution.
okay.
Keep going here.
I'm sorry.
Send it that way.
One more.
One more.
Great.
All right,
Thank you.
now we are going to look at a budget transfer in the, what would Thomas think?
WWTF. Line.
WWTF?
Wastewater treatment.
Facility.
Oh, I thought it was what would Thomas think? Okay, I was wrong all these years. All right. This is going to come from fund balance. The report reads, request the following budgetary transfer from fund balance for wastewater treatment facility retirement payouts to employees from the general fund balance to retirement accumulation. So the estimated financial impact would be $41,818.13. Anybody have any questions about this? Are we clear what that it all means there?
Right, can I just make a
Yes,
suggestion
sir.
where it says gen fund balance, it should be sewer fund balance? It says it's sewer fund.
In here?
Where it says gen right there, gen.
Oh, I see.
That should just say sewer.
Sewer,
Number is the same.
Yep, the number's actually correct. That is the sewer fund balance number.
sewer fund balance.
It's
All right.
the wrong heading, the right number.
Correct, right.
Okay.
It's, you have to, you can only transfer sewer accounts from a sewer account to a sewer account and general from a general to a general.
All right, do we have a motion to discuss? Motion, Steve Shabbat, second
One of
by
the,
Sarah Passy. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Good. Do we have the other one coming this way?
Yeah. Files.
keep moving around.
I've already called.
Thank you.
Did I actually get the other one?
It's coming that way.
No, the very first one. I think I did get it.
So,
It's in my signature.
Three.
Yeah. I've got two. There's yours. All right. Next item is actually 3 items, budget transfers in DPW. The first one is movement in the sewer funds account regarding a shortfall in the uniform account. In other words, pay for employee foods, right?
Correct.
And so the estimated financial impact of this is zilch.
This, you have the attachment of 350.
No. And so the report reads internal transfer totaling $350 of sewer funds to cover shortfall in uniform account. Motion by Steve Shadow, second by Sarah Passy. I'll note too, this is something that is covered by union requirements. Union contract requirements, I should say.
Yeah, it was an upgrade in their contracts.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. And then the next one is, this is, this is also, isn't this for retirements?
Yes,
Yes.
this is the fund balance transfer.
People retired, labor, department.
That's sad.
Yeah. And has the job been posted?
Not just yet.
Because the position is not yet, he's still active.
We've been leaving this, in October.
You had a lot of retirement in your department.
Yeah, there's a bunch of older guys here.
Okay, the report reads, description, fund balance transfer of $51,922 to cover the cost of retirement payouts for 2 employees. So the estimated financial impact is $51,922. I got it.
You have it?
Yeah.
You have the attachment, the report. One I scratched.
That one, right? Okay, so do we have a motion to approve? You have it, second by Michael Kearney. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously.
What about filling positions?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a search for
I
carpenter.
I bet.
If you're an mechanic.
Yeah.
All right, the next item is budget transfer in the engineering departments. John Schulteis, you with us?
There's one more
There's
to
one,
make
there's
better.
one.
I'm sorry,
The 23,700.
I don't have that.
Is that it? This is different.
23,000?
Yeah, and this is.
I don't have it. Okay, now.
Yep. I see it here.
Here's from Michael.
This is the one with 0 impact.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just doing some housekeeping, projecting out what our lines will look like and adding some stuff in.
This. This. Did you give me I've got this, but I don't have a report.
Oh, that was the, this is the media.
Oh, no, this one, I don't have a report.
That's one I just handed to you. Oh, did I?
No, I have 2 copies of this one.
That's what it is.
These are both the same thing.
Yeah, that's for this. Yeah, I just gave you that. Here, I'll take it back. Use your other one.
It still has to, you have to write
Yeah,
the
it just has to have the number. on it.
internal transfer.
Totaling 23,000 something.
But this is still an internal transfer, so.
Yes. Yeah, so the financial impact is still zero.
Okay, we're just a general fund.
Yep, that's perfect.
All right. Okay, sorry for the delay. This report reads internal transfer totaling $23,700 in general funds to cover shortfalls in various accounts. Estimated financial impact is 0. Do we have a motion to discuss or approve? Steve Shabbat.
Second.
Second by Sarah Casti. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. There we go. Now, John Schulteis, sorry about the false alarm there.
Good evening. This is a zero impact budget transfer to cover some expenses that couldn't be adequately predicted last year. So probably the biggest single one is one of my employees is taking some college classes and would like to be reimbursed for the tuition.
Mm-hmm. All right, any questions for John?
Yep.
All right, then do we have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Steve Shabbat, Mike Tierney seconds. And the report reads transfer from and to various engineering accounts. All accounts are A1-1440-14. The total amount we're talking about moving is $3,322, but it's an internal transfer, so it's a $0 financial impact. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. See you.
All right, then we're moving to fee of birth certificates. Elissa, so we're charging babies to be born now?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Rennie?
Nothing. Fee for birth certificates.
Yes. So I have gotten some help from Corporation Counsel who did some research to find out the process to raise the fees for birth certificates and death certificates, actually. And we still charge $10 per certified copy, and that fee has not increased in about 30 years here in Kingston. And there are several municipalities that are our size and larger that are charging up to $30, which is the maximum that we would be allowed to charge. And so the sample resolution was drafted by Corporation Counsel's office. And the process would be that, as you can see, the resolution would ask the mayor to basically ask the state to allow us to raise the fee. Again, the maximum would be 30. We can't charge more than what the state actually charges. So if you were to go to the Department of Health in Albany to get a copy of your birth certificate through the state, the same tax certificate there would cost you $30 of the one that we provide for 10 right now.
Okay. Any idea like what the administrative costs are for
It's timely. It takes a person, and it could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the situation. We have a lot of things that occur with birth certificates, with name changes and different parts of the birth certificate being amended. So sometimes it does take a little bit longer.
Okay, Michael.
Do you know what the anticipated increased revenue would be? How many people are born in the city of Kingston per year? I don't know.
The birth rate here in Kingston has gone down dramatically with the hospital, the changes in the hospitals. Most babies are born in Northern Dutchess in this area. We do have a very large, increasing amount of home births that happen. So those births also are recorded in our office. So I can't give you a number. It's a few hundred a year that are still born in Kingston. It used to be significantly higher.
And how about death certificates?
We have more deaths than we have births. We saw that shift during COVID.
Andrew.
And the difference with people who are receiving death certificates, sometimes when someone passes, the surviving family needs 10 copies of death certificates. Usually someone comes in and gets 1 copy of a birth certificate. But death certificates, they could need several depending on insurance companies and, pensions, things like that.
And that was actually going to be my point a little bit, because are we looking, unfortunately, I know how many are, I know you need a lot of death certificates to deal with everything that has to happen afterwards. And they add up. The big town of Ulster, I think it's 25, which is where my parents live. And I can't remember how many we have to buy, but it's a lot. So are we looking to do this? Do we have to do the same fee for death?
No. No, and I believe the way the resolution is, it's to ask permission to charge up to. I am not suggesting that the fee go from $10 to $30. I think that would be.
I can see that more for the birth certificates. I'm just hesitant with the death certificates because $20 more for each one when you have to get, 5 to 10, that's a significant cost after families just had a significant cost, most likely of a funeral service.
Yeah.
And so, thank you. So if they give us permission, then we would come back and have this conversation about establishment, because I do agree that they should be raised, but 10 to 30, thinking about it in that manner seems.
Right, and again, I know that's just what the law allows for it to go that high. I am in no way suggesting that it goes that high.
Would it, this is just theoretical, but would it be possible with death certificates then to say you charge the fee for the application of the death certificates, but then, somebody could pay $10 for up to 10 copies or something like that?
I'm not sure. I don't think that's how they could do it. I don't know. I mean, that really is definitely, I can ask, Abule's been the person helping me with this. So I could certainly ask him about that tomorrow.
Okay, but it does seem like a good idea to have this in the resolution so that future councils also could raise the price or lower it or do whatever they wanted to. Since it hasn't been raised in 30 years, it makes sense to. Allow it. What?
Seems kind of nice though. We're working on it.
But we still have to do all.
Do it $22.
All right, the report reads, authorize the mayor to request New York State legislation related to the fees charged for the production of certified copies of birth and death certificates. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion by Steve Shabbat. Second by Sarah Pasty. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously.
Financial impact probably should just be 0 at this point.
I think
It's just
so.
requesting authorization, adjusting the fee, right? So.
All right, I think I passed my agenda somewhere into this.
Would you like another one? Michael?
And then, this is separate, these were certified record of prior marriages.
Yeah, so what that is, when someone is in search of the documents that they need to get dual citizenship with another country, and we are seeing a surprisingly large amount of requests for this. One of the things that they need from the municipality in which they live is a certified record of prior marriages. So what that is, we have to search all of our records and determine if that individual has any prior marriages other than what they are stating that they have had. And that is a letter that has to be produced in my office, and it has to have the city seal on it. We see probably, we had 2 last week. We've been seeing it at least 1 a week. Just recently, there's been a lot of people looking to get dual citizenship for themselves or their children or whatever. And so currently we don't charge for this because it's not something that again, it's just recent that it's been really happening a lot. It's not on our fee schedule. But it is a certified document that we are producing. And sometimes, depending on the age of the person, it can take over an hour for us to search. Not all of our documents are in a database. So we are physically going into the vault and searching through many, many books to determine if this person has any prior marriages listed with us. So I did speak to Corporation Counsel, and they did a lot of research on this, and we are allowed to charge $10 for that certified letter.
And is the research that you're doing only in Ulster County, or do you have to research outside Ulster County as well? It's just people coming
This is
here.
just the city of Kingston.
No, just the city of Kingston. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, for example, because of my age, I could have been, there's 40 years worth of, technically 40 years worth of documents I need to look through to see if there would be prior marriages for myself.
Wow, yeah.
But you wouldn't have gotten married at 0.
So then there'd be even more.
All right. Okay, so the report reads, amend 2024 adopted city fee schedule to include a $10 fee for searches of certified records of prior marriages, estimated financial impact of $500. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion, second.
Motion by Michael, second by Steve. Any discussion?
This seems extremely arduous for just $10.
So you're thinking we should charge more for this, less for the death certificate, more for this.
Is there,
It'll even out.
but there's a state limit on this, what we can charge?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, $10 for an hour. It's not really.
No. No, it's not. Okay, great. Thank you for that, Alyssa.
Thank you.
With that, we go on
Thank
to
you.
now, we need to have a discussion with our attorney. So we need to close off that. Jeannie, are you there? You want to take part in this discussion?
I'm gonna pull out the conference call, you guys just gotta give me 2 minutes. The conference call.
Is Jeannie awake?
Jeannie, are you there?
She's at the beach.
No, it's,
we don't
we
need
don't have to, I'm on the executive session, and we don't have to do that. You throw these in the box. We're not there yet. Barbara and Jeannie, I'm gonna put the conference call number, just give me a minute. But I'm shutting this down.
Okay.
So, yea or nay?
Move and second and yea or nay, yeah. Gainer. All right, the report reads authorization of settlement in the matter of Super 8 Hotels in Kingston versus City of Kingston, tax map 4871-3-5, 487 Washington Avenue. The amount of reductions for 2023 would be $377,000, 2024 would be $377,000. So the estimated financial impact would be $5,314.70. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Dave Shabbat, second by Michael Tierney. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate, well, actually, all three of you do difficult stuff. So we just are tickled that you're here working for us and doing such a good job.
Happy to be here.
I second that.
You all got my message about the fire station, right?
Yes.
Lobby response.
Okay.
And
So
nothing for
nothing for business. All right, any, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to get finding home to that little boy downstairs. I want to report it back.
Me too.
I knew he's there, I knew he was there. And I'm gonna have a heart attack.
7:45 this morning. No, it was, one of the other morning.
The Hudson River. That's where it should go.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted the adjournment here.
No, we're adjourned.
Before we do it, are we gonna have like do we need extra during the budget cycle?
I'm working on it
Yeah.
takes a while,
Okay.
but it will.
Careful what you ask for.
I gotta know.
Basically,
When does it start? When we start?
Well, I told you to save that date for public hearing, that's the start of it.
That's the start.
You have an agenda on this one?
No, I'm working on it.
Then we'll.
I have all the dates, it takes a while. But basically, I did send you the public hearing date, which is not official, because it can't be yet. And then just basically save every night. I'm kind of not kidding, except holidays. Monday through
I
Thursday.
can't do the second.
I care about John first, I care about Rennie second, I asked department heads, and then
Okay,
if you can't make it, I'm sorry.
okay.
There's so little wiggle room.
We're not voting, we're just discussing.
Yeah, so if you need to find a sub, then
Okay.
otherwise I think we're just gonna get it done, so.
And they're recorded, is whether.
The recorded, yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, that's why I know for every other thing I come back and ask you what your availability is, but it's basically, we just have to take every day available, because we have, there's Veterans Day, there's Election Day, there's Thanksgiving. I was trying not to celebrate this year, but John is making me. I put that as one of the dates, and.
Johnson.
And I will say
Everybody came out overtime, why not?
for you new
I guess it
folks,
was, yeah.
last year's budget process went really smooth. compared to
I was
some
there for last year's.
Well, then you know, well, you don't know what it used to be like.
No, I do not know what
Let me
it used to
just
be
leave
like.
that.
Steve was here for that.
I didn't. No, everybody kept saying, yeah, this is very smooth, but I had no comparison.
There's one's a relative thing.
Yeah.
All right, we're adjourned. Have a nice night all. Thanks, Lisa.
Arguing and-
Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara.
We did-
Thank you.